Is that what she was doing? Because I'm not sure she even knew. She really had enough information to be very ridiculous. But when you talk long enough, you should realize I really need to close my mouth because I don't know what I'm talking about. She needed you to come to the rescue, but I think she kind of bailed out before you could get the opportunity.
Yeah. As soon as I got in, she was.
First was a misspelling of copyright, so it went downhill from there.
Yeah, soon as I
wasn't even there, and I can only imagine.
Yeah, the stuff we've been seeing today.
I hate to say that because I think she's really knowledgeable about what she's in her lane, but it's just not this one.
That's okay. I sent LaConya my own message. I was like, "Listen, this is why the people need you. I'm just gonna put this right in your text message and walk away slowly."
You did, and then I went into.
You in the same room?
No, she was in Facebook. Hers came from Facebook.
Yeah.
So.
Out here saving in the world, one client.
Listen, I'm just saying. So somebody with 28 years law experience. I'm like, ooh.
What does that even mean, right? What does that even mean? Listen, so for the people that are out here did I hit live on YouTube? Nope. Ha ha. How about I hit this live button and then talk to the people? There we go.
Let's talk to the people.
Hit that live button real quick. We're live, so we're going to just set up the room really quick since we're just getting started. It's 7:01, but we've been having a little difficulties, challenges, but it's all gravy. I am Attorney Murray. For those of you who do not know me, I'm a brand attorney, owner of Off the Mark IP Solutions, and I help clients throughout the United States own their genius by protecting their brands through trademarks, copyrights, and business development solutions. Listen, we got some good stuff today. I've been hit up multiple times today from various sources with basically pinging me to kind of set some stuff straight where people have misinformation. And this is what I want to say. Do not use Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse, or any other social media to get legal advice. Can we just start there? Can we make that like the third? Can we just start there? Like if you have questions, technical questions, you need to seek an attorney. And I know there are some times where you don't want to do that because of cost, but some investments have to be made. Let me tell you, a $200 consultation can save your brand. All the information that you will get out of that conversation will set you up for life. So what we're going to do today, today's Murray's Law. It's Monday, 7 p.m. Central Time. We're going to take your questions. Genius Insiders first, Genius Lounge members second, and then we're going to open it up to other discussions. But if you're in Clubhouse, you notice that I put copyright with an R versus copyright with a W will either protect my phrase, because I've seen a lot of that. And even in the room that I was in with you, Sherry, there were, that seemed to be the consensus of it. Like, oh, I have this phrase. How can I protect it? And so we're going to talk about that today too. But I do have some questions, if I know how to find them, that I want to make sure that I answer. And so while I'm looking up the question, because there were a few that were submitted, let me see if I can find it. Now it'll let me go through Instagram and I don't know how to find it. Isn't that funny? So someone sent me, how do you find that? Somebody asked me a question on social media through the IG chat thingy, and now I don't know how to find it.
Was it on your story, or did they ask you through the question thing that you put up?
On the story, you know how you can put the poll on there and they can ask a question?
How long ago did they ask? Was it today?
Apparently not. But I thought that it would go to my inbox. Did it not go to my inbox?
Ooh. No, I think the story is only good for, I think if they ask on the story, it's only good for 24 hours.
Oh.
It's stored somewhere.
Someone should tell me that. Okay, I found some though. I found it in my, boom, here we go. I found them. Here we go. As a photographer, how do I define commercial use and business use for copyright? Ooh, I like that question. And so this is in line with what we're talking about copyright. So copyrights protect original work that are in a fixed, tangible form. As the photographer, when you're taking that picture, right, you own the rights to that work. And what I like about this question is that it allows you, or it puts in mind like a way to provide different services and different revenue to your business. So commercial use is really just like commercially being able to, so let's say someone wants to create a photo book, like a coffee table book, and they want to sell it. So they want to sell it commercially. That would be a commercial use. A business use would be defined as someone that's taking brand photos for their marketing. So it's not for them to turn around and sell, right? But they're using it for business use to promote their business. So that will be the difference. And that's how you can define it to your clients. And that's not just for photographers. That's also for graphic designers. You know, people come to you and say, oh, I want a logo, right? But what I've learned just on this side of the fence, when they talk about logo, really what they're talking about is the design that they're going to put on their shirt. Oftentimes, they're not even using that logo as a brand identifier. They just want something artistic to put on a shirt. So it's not technically a logo, so they're not using it for business use. They're using it for commercial use because they want to sell it. And so you can offer different licenses for your work as a graphic designer or a photographer based off of your client's needs and their price point. So you can offer a license where they can use it for commercial use, or they can use it for business use. And that license doesn't, you can charge a different price point, or you can, whatever it is. Or you can charge a higher price point and assign all the rights to that work to them if you want to. So there's different levels because you own the copyright. You get to say what type of use they can have. That was a great question. The second question is, if I shoot content for an influencer, why am I talking like that? If I shoot content for an influencer to use, can I sell the copyright to the brand? Oh, yeah, we just talked about that. Like, we literally just answered that. And you definitely can sell, assign, you can put in the contract that you assign all the rights to that, to the influencer. Make sure that you are compensated accordingly too, because now it's something that you won't be able to use. So make sure you charge accordingly. Great question. Let's see, other questions. So we go back to the title of the room, right? Copyright versus copyright will either protect my phrase. I think, Alea, when I went into the group, first of all, you sent me that message, and then I went into the group, and the question was, will a patent protect my phrase? No. That's just Sherry's laughing like no, like I'm ecstatic that people are becoming more aware of intellectual property and becoming more vigilant about trying to identify their intellectual property and protect it. Like, that makes my heart super happy. That's what I've been in these streets advocating for almost a decade. Almost a decade. What? Ooh, that's a whole nother story. Anywho, almost a decade. Goodness gracious. Anywho, but what I need for you to do is to really be where you're getting your advice from, because the group was like, no, you need a copyright for that. No, you don't, because copyrights don't protect short phrases. So copyright with an R versus copyright with a W. Copyright with an R refers to intellectual property that protects work that is in a fixed, tangible form. And it has to have some level of creativity to it, right? And book titles don't qualify. Book titles, short phrases, quotes, those things don't qualify. Now, we're not talking about if you have a body of work, right, and you pull a quote from the book. We're not saying that when you pull that quote from the book that's not protected by copyrights. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that people that come up with these inspirational, morning motivational quotes, or hustle harder, not smarter. That didn't make any sense, but y'all know what I'm saying. But using those type of short phrases, right? You come up with something creative, like, oh, I want to protect it. Like, oh, perfect example, where the money resides. Where the money resides in and of itself, as a short phrase, is not anything. But when he started associating it with goods and services, then it became a trademark. So trademark protect short phrases because they're used to identify the source of a good or a service. When it's used to identify the source of a good or a service, then guess what? It can be protected. Let me make sure. Let me see. Then it can be protected. Oops. So that's that. And then copyright with the W. Copyright with the W refers to your written word, like your copy for what you put on your sales page, what you put on your website. That's what they mean
Like
by copy. Yes, like product description, like hey, like you're launching something, right? So whatever that is, and it doesn't just have to be on a sales page, right? We sell from social media. Slow down. Sometimes our captions is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes our captions can be sales copy, or when you're running a Facebook ad, is it has to have some level of creativity in it. Some level of creativity. Oh, there was some other stuff too. So those were the questions that we got. Those were the 2 questions that were submitted, and then we talked about copyright versus copyright with the W. Hey, friend. So those were the questions. Oh, there was another question. Look, questions all over the place. The next question is, and if you have any questions on YouTube, or if you have any questions on Instagram, definitely let me know. And so this question comes from, I'm pulling it up, in my least favorite place, my email. My inbox is terrible. Yeah, I thought I was. Let's see. Hey, Jacqueline, thanks for joining. So this question was, let me just put in the name because I know who sent it. It's talking about DBAs. Okay, never mind. I can't find the question. I'll come back and get it. But it's really talking about DBAs and whether or not you should have a DBA for your business. And what that is, I tell people all the time. So this is something that you have to know when it comes to, we're talking about trademarks now. So when we're talking about trademarks, what you need to know is this. You need to know that your business name and your trade name aren't the same. You can register your business with your state. You can go through the Secretary of State. You can find your name. It can be available. You can register your LLC or corporation or whatever it is. You can do that and still infringe on someone's intellectual property. And you do that because your state, your business name, and your trade name are different. Man. Listen, I think I've been talking all this time and the audio has been off on YouTube. We will see. And the reason that is because the state just wants to know who's starting a business, right? Who are we collecting money from? Who's starting a business? And so that database is limited to that state. I've had situations where my clients have the registered trademark, someone has an LLC, and they're like, well, I got the LLC, so I have the trademark. No, they're not the same thing. That's the business name. It has nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, you can do business as your trade name, and your trade name is the name that consumers recognize and do business with. So a lot of times your trade name can be different from your business name. That's where you see these DBAs or fictitious names come into play. So you have something like, for instance, the Murray Law Group LLC. That is our LLC. But y'all don't see that unless we're writing a contract. We're in contract together. What you all see is Off the Mark IP Solutions. So my contract says Murray Law Group LLC doing business as Off the Mark IP Solutions. And so when I went to file my trademark is for the Off the Mark, because that's the trade name that I do business with. That's what consumers recognize. I didn't do a trademark for Murray Law Group. because the consumers don't see that. I don't use that in marketing or trade or anything of that nature. So I don't have to do that. I did. So that's that. When you come to, and I tell people all the time, like, especially when you're rebranding, people are like, oh, I'm rebranding, now I got to go to the state, I got to refile paperwork, got to change my LLC. Stop that. Check with your state and see if they offer DBAs or fictitious names, and see what you have to do. Keep your business name the same, and then file the paperwork for you to do business as, and keep it moving. Let's file this trademark to protect it, and let's keep it moving. Another question that we received is, when do I need to do this? I saw there was someone in a group that I'm in. She's working with a graphic designer with the logo, and she says she's building it because she knows she wants to protect it. Which brings up the great question, like, when does the attorney come into play? You bring in the attorney when you're talking about building a brand. You need to have that attorney in your pocket with you, because as you're building the brand, you want to make sure that it's available before you commit to it. Do you know how many times I've done trademark clearance searches and had to come back to the people and say, hey, I'm sorry, you have to rebrand because you're infringing on someone's intellectual property? Or sometimes it's not the fact that they're really infringing on anyone else's intellectual property, it's that the name they have is not even unique enough. It's something that's so common, but they want to file the trademark for it. I guess because they like it. I don't know why. Because here's the thing. Trademarks give you the opportunity to make your mark in a crowded industry, right? We're always talking about how industries are crowded and, everybody's doing something, right? But when you're able to create your own unique branding and position and connect with your tribe, you want to protect that. Because you want people, when they're looking for you, you want them to find you. When you're casting that net out there, right? When you're casting that net to call in your tribe, which, by the way, that's what copywriting with a W comes in, that communicating with your tribe. So that goes to your sales copy, that goes to your podcast, that goes to your YouTube video, that goes to your live videos, right? That's you fishing that net. Wait, I'm trying to make a fishing analogy, but I don't fish, so I might be saying it wrong. And if you're watching me on the stream, you see what I'm doing.
You're doing all right. That's casting the net out.
Casting the net, yeah. So casting that net out, right? And you want to bring them back into your brand, right? And so you want to protect that, because think about it. Brands are so freaking valuable. You see this post that's going around all the time, right? With the guy with the white coffee cup that's like $1.50. And then you have a coffee cup, same white cup, but now they slapped a Starbucks logo on it. And now it's like $20. I exaggerated, but it is like $6 or something for a cup of coffee because it has that logo on it because of branding. They created an expectation, right? And people are willing to pay for that, not just for the coffee, but for that whole inclusiveness that they feel when they walk around with this Starbucks coffee, because they feel like they're part of a clique or part of a tribe. That's what you're protecting with your trademark. Why would you want to create something or invest in something that everybody else is doing? So that goes to my point of, you might have something that's just not unique enough. You don't want something that everyone else has. You want something that's unique to you. Think about the biggest brands out there, the most popular brands out there. Do you see anything that's same or similar to Apple? Do you see anything that's same or similar to Disney or Kleenex or Google? Do you see anything? No, they make sure that they create their position, and the strongest marks are those that are made up. They just make up a word, right? And the second strongest mark is one that's arbitrary, one that's a normal word, but it's used in an arbitrary way, in a regular way, or in a non-regular way, like Apple. Like Apple for fruit is one thing, but Apple for computers, that's pretty genius, right? This says, I have a store that I want to open in the future. Do I contact you now as we build the plan? Perfect question. So, and this goes back to, when do we get the trademark, right? If you know you're going to, like, if you legit know you're going to open the store and you're in the planning and launch phase, this is the time to contact me, because we want to make sure that when you launch, your brand is protected. What I've seen happen is people will go and they will build and create their brand, build their business, and get ready to launch. I had one client, well, not a client, that's why this happened. They contacted me for another business, and we talked about trademarking, we talked about intent to use applications, we talked about in-use applications, and I guess nothing happened with that business. About a year later, my phone starts blowing up, and I was like, why? Who is this calling me? Because they had my cell phone number, which people don't get my cell phone number. And I called them back, and it was the same person who went into a business with two partners. One partner decided to leave and start their own thing, except for he kept the name. They both kept the name. So the person that talked to me, they were building, launching, investing in branding, spent like $10,000 for marketing materials, and the day before they were getting ready to launch, they received a cease and desist letter. So now they have to say, is it worth fighting, or do we just rebrand? But if you would have protected your brand during that building and launching phase, you wouldn't have that problem. So that's there. And greetings. Okay, that was that question. Hold on. Here we go. That was a great question. And I can't see. I have these contacts on, but I still can't see that little print on Instagram. So forgive me if I'm not calling out names. And I need to see one thing. Okay, I am. Okay, I just have to make show. Not sure, but show. All right, so we have 9 minutes left. So if anyone on Clubhouse, if you have a question, raise your hand. I'd be glad to answer your question. And you're so welcome. When you're ready to contact me, you can, on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio, or you can go to LaConyaMurray.com so that you can schedule a consultation, learn more about me and my services. I would love to learn more about you and your business. Miss Jacqueline has joined us on the stage. Miss Jacqueline, what is your question?
Hello, my question, and thank you for giving us the breakdown and getting into the DBA and everything tonight. My question is, your Genius Insider program, the last time I went to the website, it says it's not open yet. Can you just kind of give a rundown of that?
Excuse me. Absolutely. Thank you for asking about that program, because there's a countdown on the page. It opens up in April. But what the Genius Insider program is, it's an amazing membership program for those people who want to work with an attorney. They want to stay within a certain budget, but they want to make sure they have access. So if they have questions, they can schedule a consultation, or they can schedule a consultation for a document review. And they also works really well for those people who not only need help from an attorney, but are looking for a business mentor. I'm not a coach, I'm not a consultant, but I love helping and talking to people about their business. And so that business mentor part, I love it. And then we also offer master classes surrounding business, because a lot of my clients are new to business, or they're launching something different or new, and they just want some guidance on that. And some people have been in business for years, but we've been kind of piecing stuff together, because that's what we do when we first start a business, right? We do what we can until we know better. So the Genius Insider program, we offer 3 ways for you to work with us. We offer monthly, quarterly, and annually. For less than the price of a consultation, listen, you get free consultations. Not just one consultation, but multiple consultations. I talked to one client this month. It'll be 3 times tomorrow. But they have new issues, right? And that's the beauty of it. I reviewed 2 documents, and we talked about something else. And I have another client. I think this is like multiple consultations in a month. And I'm here for it. I love it. That's how I make sure y'all stay out of trouble. It's through that Genius Insider program, because what I find is, if not, people will be hesitant to reach out because they don't want to pay consultation fee, right? This way, you'll have someone that's growing with your business, that knows your business, and can help you and advise you as you're going through it. And after a certain time, you do get discounts. So people who need trademarks, right? The best thing that I see people do is sign up quarterly. When you sign up quarterly, you end up getting discounted trademark services. Like saving thousands with an S dollars. When you sign up annually, you get that, plus you receive 20% off your legal services. And the prices aren't expensive, like $112 a month, $297 quarterly, or $1,140 for the year. That's really great. So thank you, Jacqueline, for inquiring about that. And you can go again to LaConyaMurray.com and click Genius Insider Program, and you go ahead and put in your application. Because we are selective about who we work with, we want to work with business owners who are working. We don't want to work with anyone that has a lot of ideas, but they don't have the work ethic. There are people who want to be successful, but they don't want to work. We don't want to work with those type of people. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Jacqueline. All right. So we have a few more minutes left. And what I will say is this. I love Murray's Law. I love when you guys ask questions. We are moving it. We're moving it. Simply because we have our own free platform that we want to grow. And it's not fair to that community when we broadcast it everywhere. So if you want to join, the replay will be available on YouTube. The replay will be available on IGTV. But if you want to be a part of the conversation, you need to join the Genius Lounge. The Genius Lounge is a free community where we have other entrepreneurs who are looking to build better businesses. I know Thursday we're having a masterclass about money mindset. It's a great resource. Do you work with those who are up and coming and still figuring things out? Those are my favorite people. So depending on where you are, I don't know if the insider would be the best way for you to start. Well, you could start off monthly. Or would you be better off with a strategy session where we just sit down, spend half a day sitting down, going through your business goals, coming up with a strategy, helping you develop or come up with ideas for intellectual property. I'm really big on people creating intellectual property. I'm really, really big on that. Coming up with your own personal methodology on the way that you serve your people. Even if you're doing with products, just trying to helping you with that. So definitely reach out to me and we'll see how we can work together. Like I said, I love intellectual property. I love trademarks, but I also love business. And more importantly, I love seeing us build and grow and just kick butt. That's what I love. I think you may need a strategy too. DM me and I'll send you the link for us to work together. All right, we are 3 minutes. Any other questions? And thank you all for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. But what I really want you to do is when you leave here, if you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio and hit Genius Lounge to join the Genius Lounge. If you're on YouTube, click the link and join the Genius Lounge. If you're on Clubhouse, click the link to my Instagram, then click the link to my bio so that you can join the Genius Lounge, or you can go to geniuslounge.co. Either one of those. But tonight has been great. I hope that you all understand the difference between copyright with an R and copyright with a W and know what you need to do in order to protect your phrase. I know that this is really, really the hot topic right now because everyone's trying to come up with that catchy thing that's going to go viral next. And this is what you do. You have to, when you do come up with that short phrase, you have to know, now you know, right, that it can't be protected by copyrights. But what you need to do is go ahead and figure out what product or service you want to connect it to so we can file that intent to use trademark, because that is one of the things that the guy that created Where the Money Resides, he moved quick. He was like, don't even try it. My IP attorney has it all tightened up, because he knew, or he was associated with someone that knew that this is what you need to do. And on mine, I have to ask my daughter if mine are on fleek. I don't think they are. She came up with that, and she took too long. And there was another company that came out with a makeup, an eyebrow kit that was on fleek. But then after that, the young lady tried to come up with a clothing line. It's not even connected, but at least you tried to do something. But you have to be quick. Even if you file your intent to use, when you file that intent to use application, it does give you an opportunity to say, okay, let me slow down and flesh out this business and flesh out what the what's it called? This launch is going to look like, right? That way you have some time, but you know that your IP is protected. Let's see. Yay, you just DM me. Great. When we get off this, I will respond to that. And someone says, I have a saying that I created in my book. I want to copyright them. You can copyright the book. You need to copyright the book. So, and that's copyright. Yeah, you want to copyright the book. When you copyright the book, the material is protected. And I just, and so that goes into this longer discussion that we won't have time to talk about today, which is fair use. That's something that I've been really studying up on because I get a lot of questions about fair use. And to be quite honest, fair use is kind of like this. Depending on what circuit you're in, you're going to get a different answer about what constitutes fair use. But for the most part, the biggest question I get is, if I just take a little bit of it, or if I only use a couple of seconds of it, is that fair use? And the short answer is not necessarily. Like, there's no hard and fast rule that says that's based on the amount. Cool beans. Any more questions before we call it a night? Nope. Well, great. You guys keep an eye out. So if you're, go ahead and join the Genius Lounge. That's where you're going to get the update for the Murray's Law, because not only are we moving it to the Genius Lounge, we're also moving it to twice a month instead of every week, just so we make sure that, because this is for you all. And if you don't have questions, then we don't need to be here. Like, this is for you all. So we want to make sure that you have questions and that this is really serving you all. All right. And thank you, Leah, for putting the link in there to the Genius Lounge. I really appreciate it. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do this first.